Dennis Perone was a local gay activist who had helped Harvey Milk get elected. Dennis was one of his campaign managers and ran it out of a place called The Island, which was a marijuana supermarket and restaurant.
No two spoons matched, no two forks matched, no two chairs matched. I started it from basically garbage.
Dennis was in jail during the campaign. A local police guy had shot him in the leg while attempting to raid his establishment.
I got shot during that raid. Unarmed man shot by the cops, who later on called me a motherfucking faggot, said he wished he had killed me. One less faggot in San Francisco.
And busted him for marijuana cultivation charges and marijuana distribution and sale. So Dennis is in jail at the time of the election. Now Dennis had, at that moment in the 1978 ballot, put an initiative, a local initiative, not statewide, just a local initiative, saying that it shall be the lowest police priority in terms of law enforcement, that marijuana offenses shall be the lowest priority for law enforcement.
It was taking the money away from the city to enforce marijuana laws. The 1,036 people got busted, no more money.
This passed by like 60% in San Francisco. The voters are very pro-marijuana and always have been in San Francisco. The new mayor, Dianne Feinstein, absolutely refused to act on the proposition. It never was implemented, but it was passed by the people regardless of whether Dianne Feinstein wanted to do it or not. Dennis started the Buyers Club and started a local initiative. I believe it was late 90 or early 91. I don't even remember the name of the proposition. I think it was Prop P. And it said that hemp medicine should be stored to the list of medicines in California and be allowed marijuana for medical use. It was a local proposition. In the city and county of San Francisco, if it's for medical use, it's legal. And it passed by 79%, which is more than any politician has ever gotten in any election in San Francisco. So pretty soon at 1444 Market, Dennis had the best marijuana club in the world going, bigger than anything in Amsterdam. 5 stories of activities, and the essential part is not just that they were selling marijuana at cheap prices to patients and good medical quality marijuana, so that patients had a safe access. They didn't have to buy on the streets from drug dealers, whoever that might be, but from somebody who is legitimate enough to open publicly a community center for AIDS patients. He took the simple concept that marijuana should be classified as a medicine and made that into the concept that you should, as a medical patient, be able to obtain medical marijuana from your primary caregiver and put that whole idea on the ballot.
I wrote Prop 215 for sick and dying people, but I realized it's also for living people. It's to live, not just to sick and die. It's to live with.
This was a people's initiative, as much as possible in the 1990s. And it got 56% of the votes statewide. It passed by a complete majority, complete plurality. If it had been 51 or 52%, they could have bitched.
The law in California, Prop 215, allows physicians to recommend cannabis or approve of it if people are already using it.
You know, anybody who looks at the science has to recognize that there's medical value to marijuana, unless you're just a flagrant liar, which I would put the DEA, California Narcotics Officers Association.
Marijuana has not been proven to have any medical purpose. All the scientific research that's been done on marijuana has been negative.
Clearly there are potential therapeutic benefits from THC and other components within marijuana.
Until a non-smoked, rapid onset cannabinoid drug delivery system becomes available, we acknowledge that there is no clear alternative for people suffering from chronic conditions that might be relieved by smoking marijuana.
People are going to smoke marijuana whether it's legal or not. It's just important for them to know what the consequences of smoking this material might be to their health.
You know, it's almost like saying, well, we got liquor stores. People go down and buy liquor.
See, I don't, if it's going to be a drug that is not killing people. I haven't heard of anybody that ever OD'd and died from smoking marijuana, which puts it even less dangerous than alcohol, that I don't see any problem with just legalizing it entirely and regulating it and taxing it so that the government can make some money off of it, and regulating it like you do alcohol.
Drug prohibition increases crime, increases corruption, increases problems nationwide and worldwide.
Regulation, like tobacco, like alcohol, is the drug dealer's worst enemy.
Yes, alcohol is dangerous. Yes, tobacco is dangerous, but at least it's not funding Al Capone or Osama bin Laden.
If you really want to stop the violence associated with the drug war and the money and the gross profits that are associated with the drug war, what you do is regulate it.
The winners of the war on drugs are, number one, the big-time drug dealers, and that's pretty obvious. They're making billions of dollars.
But if you cut out the drug dealer, a lot of the violence would go away. Cut down on your burglaries, your thefts, your robberies.
But the propaganda has been so effective for so many years that links the money and violence of the drug trade with the use of the drugs themselves. That's what we work hard to get over. That's 70 plus years now of government propaganda.
What's happened is, at least with the states that have passed medical cannabis laws, we're not getting this big spike in teen use.
I would think to place marijuana usage in the category of drugs such as alcohol and tobacco, where the government has some control, you take it out of the hands of black marketeers and put it in the hands of pharmacists and doctors and people of such, then I think, you know, it goes to the weight of being good for society.
We just qualified the Oakland Cannabis Initiative for the City of Oakland to direct the city to establish a system to tax and regulate the sales of cannabis for adults. The idea is to keep it off the streets and away from kids, to undermine street dealing.
A regulated market would be much easier to keep out of the hands of anyone under 21 or under 18, depending on what sort of line we draw.
We would make marijuana less available for our children than it is today. Why? Because today alcohol is regulated by the government and marijuana is controlled by illicit marijuana dealers who do not ask for ID.
If you ask any teenager today, what's easier to get, marijuana or alcohol?
Way easier. I mean, alcohol, you had to look like you were close to of age or have somebody around, but to get weed was really easy.
Teach kids that this is an adult activity, and when you are old enough, you will have the choice whether or not you want to engage in this activity legally.
If I say to a teen, hey, if you smoke pot, you're going to go psychotic, you're going to become a schizophrenic, and of course then they go do it, and they don't become schizophrenic, they're not going to believe anything else I say either.
We need honest drug education, and to let them know that cannabis is not the same as heroin, it's not the same as cocaine or methamphetamine.
So when I say methamphetamine is going to make your brain shrink by 1% for each year that you use it, which is absolutely true, they're going to say, well, you lied to me about pot, I might as well try meth too. And then we're really down a difficult road once we've lost that credibility.
When you lump them all together in this drug thing, and if they lie about cannabis, then they'll think, oh, well, then heroin's okay.
My father is an immigrant. He's from Italy. And he told me that this country is the greatest country in the world because you can change things. We have a democracy, and in democracy, anything is possible. Dennis, if you don't like it, you can change the law and change it and make it better. And that's what's great about this country. You could throw the bums out every 2 years, and if you don't like a law, you can change it.